So today we're putting together a very unique card, something brand new to us. It's a pop-up card, but not what you're used to. You have to see it. I'm sure you've already seen it, but when you see how it goes together, you'll be surprised at how easy it is actually, but the end result and that wow factor is definitely unique. So anyway, this is in front of me here. This is the main mechanism, I guess you can call it. And we're actually going to apply some of the panels first just to get that out of the way, get rid of some pieces and just kind of work on things methodically. Begin by gluing down this top panel here. So grab one, doesn't matter which one, and get your glue on it. Make sure you work that glue out to the edges. Okay, and you can see obviously there's a slit there. You want to make sure that you get that right on top of the slit there. Get it nice and centered over the slit that's on the actual mechanism. And in doing so, you'll notice that the very edge of this is almost butting up against the score marks there. Okay. We don't want it to encroach over the score marks because this does need to fold right here. Okay, but you can see how nicely that went on. Very simple so far. We'll grab the other side and get our glue on the back of this guy. And it's actually pretty straightforward. I've never actually assembled one of these. This is my first time. I analyzed it very closely, so we know what we're doing here. Okay, so there we go. Pop that right over the slit. Make sure it's nice and centered there. Then press the rest of this down into place. Okay, so I've got basically some snow up on the top here because we're putting a beautiful little Christmas tree. It's going to be our focal point. Okay, and just make sure that it does fold nicely and it's not, this panel that we've just put on is not obstructing the little score marks. Okay, so we got that in place, and I'm just going to flatten this out. We do have 6 panels. Now in our case, we have this this special embossed paper. It's pre-embossed, but you can use whatever you'd like. So we're going to glue these panels in place just to get these out of the way. It's a lot easier to do this sort of thing when everything is nice and flat. So we're going to do that, and we've got a total of 6 panels. They're going to go in these little rectangular areas. You want to make sure that when you put them down that you get them nice and centered so that the border around it is as even as possible, just like that. Okay. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to repeat this process a total of 5 more times all the way around on the corresponding sections there. Go. So yeah, when I saw this, and actually this, our art director, Ron, who oversaw the development of this product as he oversees everything on our site, he was in the middle of a move. He's moving from a place that he was in for a long time into a different place. And while he was doing that, suggested that make it easier on him and let Diana design this bundle. So this is the first bundle that our engineer Diana has actually designed. She's designed some freebies in the past. So anyway, I hope you guys love what she came up with here. All 3 of these cards are her designs, and of course Diana was working with Ron because Ron has a lot of experience with design and colors and all that stuff. So obviously he was helping out too, making sure that everything, well, there's a continuity among all of our products as far as colors and style and things of that nature. So anyway, they're a great team. I'm very thankful for them. All right, so I've got one more to go here, and this paper is I haven't really used this kind of paper in the past. You can see how it's almost like a fabric. It's just a very pulpy paper, and I think that's why it embosses so beautifully with all this detail. Again, I didn't emboss this. A paper came like this. I believe we got this at Michael's. I'm sure you can find it. So last one here, again, making sure that you keep a nice even border all the way around. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for that. We do have some more paper piecing stuff to do here, which we're gonna need to do to prep these sections for gluing. Now, here's one set of our gifts. There is a little score mark down here. You wanna go ahead and get that folded just to get that ready to go for its final destination. And we're gonna take the little red section of our little presents that are gonna be under the tree, and we're gonna get this glued down into place. Okay, just go easy on the glue. You don't need a whole ton. Okay, and you can see pretty self-explanatory where that's gonna go. Okay, so these make up the little ribbon and bow sections of our gifts. Just make sure that you got them on there nice and even. Everything's nice and aligned. Okay, now once that's in place, we have a little layer of snow. This coordinates with the base panels that we put on the top of the mechanism here. So everything coordinates nicely. And that's actually kind of off a little bit. That's okay, we'll cover that up with this guy here. So just pop that into place, pardon my head, as I work on my alignment. Now I'm putting a glitter paper on top of foil, and this is where you want to be a little patient if you're doing the same as I am, where you're putting, well, anything on foil usually takes a little more time to set. So we'll get that in place and we'll put that off to the side. We're going to need that in a little bit, but we're going to make sure that that really sets before we do anything else with it. And same thing on the other side here. Whoops, way too much glue there. I'm going to have to smack that down a little bit. Give it a dab. And I'm just doing little dots here. I don't want to overwhelm this with too much glue. There we go, that's perfect. And that big old splotch there, I'm just going to hit that with my finger, get some of that off, and just kind of flatten it out. Okay, and just make sure that you're putting it on the right side here, because I've got a completely different pattern on the other side here. Okay. All right. So that's all set. Whoops, I got a little bit of glue residue on this foil. That's okay now. All right, and then the little snow drift, of course, just like we did on the other one. Just kind of hit that with a few little dots of glue. Okay, so kind of working our way through all the pieces. A little process of elimination here, and things will all come together and make more sense here once we get into the assembly of the structure. Okay, so there's our other set of gifts. That's ready to go. We're gonna let that kind of simmer for a minute, let it set. Okay, get that folded down at the bottom. All right, now in the meantime, we'll put our tree together, and it's got a few layers to it. That's okay. So this is a solid section here. Here's our main pattern that will be pretty much the focal point on the front of the tree. So we're gonna get that glued down, and okay, so your pattern, we're gonna glue that down to the other large Christmas tree piece, the full Christmas tree, including the long stem, which is actually a part of it, is part of the mechanism. And you do not, let me think here. Yeah, actually, yeah, we're gonna glue this whole thing down, all the way down to that little mechanism as well. So you wanna get your glue on this entire thing all the way down to the bottom as well. Okay, let me double check and make sure that's right. It is. Okay, And now the piece of AC cardstock that I'm gluing this to, the back piece, this evergreen color, I've got the texture side is facing out, okay, because we're going to, well, it's going to be visible on this side. Okay, so you can see I've got the texture side out. And now what we're going to do on the texture side is find this little piece, and this is kind of an inset. It's going to go here. This is where you can do your little stamping, write your message. If you want to do a print to cut, you can, or if you want to do a, you can write with your pen tool onto this piece if you want to do that as well, to put your greeting on there or your sentiment or whatever journaling you want to do. I know some people write little stories about the past year. I know everyone's is going to be very, very interesting this year with all the lockdowns and such, but it's okay. It's definitely a time we'll never forget. Okay, so there is that piece. Now on the other side here, this is where we're going to glue down this piece with this beautiful detail, okay, and then we're going to adorn that with a piece of gold foil trim just for the perimeter. So I'm going to work the perimeter on this first, and then what I'll do is I'm going to hit the little fretwork here with just some dots of glue here and there. There's no sense in trying to get glue on each and every single section here. It's not really necessary, as long as there's some areas that are doing some work, the rest of it will stay in place and it's not going to go anywhere. So do your best to kind of cover as many little areas as you can, but don't wait too long because that glue is going to start drying, and then it's going to be too late. So just pop that right in place. I'm kind of using the star as my initial guide, and then just kind of taking a look around, making sure that everything else is matching up nicely, and it is. There we go. Okay, and we've got little areas here on this fretwork where we can add some little rhinestone or some pearls to jazz it up even more. And then finally, we'll finish it off by putting our little gold perimeter piece on here. Nice little gold trim. There we go. And I'm just working it all the way around. Just being very, very careful not to use too much glue there. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with the star, get that aligned. I'll bring this back down in a second here. Just want to make sure I'm getting it in the right spot. There we go. Beautiful. And just line that up. And you may need to kind of stretch it out a little bit. Beautiful. There we go. Press that down, make sure it's holding nicely. And I can see a little problem area there, right here. Didn't hold all the way, so never fear. Just grab a piece of scrap paper, throw a little bit of glue on the very edge of it, and just kind of tuck it in between these two layers, and just paint a little extra glue on this section that isn't staying put for us. There we go. Easy as that. Okay. All right, so our tree is done. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much ready to begin with the mechanism here. Now, one thing we do want to do before we glue this all down, well, first off, we're going to take our tree and we're going to pop it in through that middle center slot. Okay, once we've done that, from the inside here, you'll notice that there are two little score marks there. Okay, we're going to take this piece here. There's two of these. We're going to do one on each side. But this one, we're going to put some glue in between the two score marks here. Okay, so it's just in the middle of the two score marks. And we're going to glue this onto the little trunk. And we're going to nudge this right up along the little score lines that you have on there, on my green pattern here. the green polka dot pattern has 2 little score marks here. You want to position this just underneath those score marks. Okay, then we're going to take it and flip it over, and you'll notice 2 more score lines here. But this time, we're going to put glue on this entire thing, and we're going to kind of make a sandwich. Okay, just like that, and then glue this right on top of the first little. We're calling them stoppers because what they're doing essentially is they're preventing this thing from coming out. Okay, so it's like a little stopper mechanism. All right, so the tree is in. Okay, it's not coming out now. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we do the same thing with our little GIFs. Okay, so now when we put these GIFs in, make sure that when you put them through the slot that you don't have them backwards. Okay, so this one here obviously is going to be facing out. So we just pop that through and shove it all the way in. Okay, and now again, this one also has some stoppers on it, and let's see if I can find where the score marks are. So once we put this all the way through, we're going to pull it down as far as it'll go. So just kind of pull it towards you, okay? And we're going to take this little stopper and we're going to glue it right there, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to keep it from, it's going to keep it from popping out. Yeah, it's going to keep it from popping out while also keeping it all the way nice and flush with the base there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put glue. You'll notice that there are 2 little score marks. Just keep your glue within the confines of this area with the score marks, just like that. Okay, give this another tug. Make sure it's all the way in, or not all the way in, but it's pulled in as far as it'll go, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and just glue that down pretty much as far as you can go so that it looks like that. Okay, so that worked out nicely. And then we're going to go over to the other side. And again, make sure that you slide this in the correct way. Okay, so we want the presents facing out. Slide that right in. Okay, so again, make sure that the present is facing out, just like that. I'm going to give that a tug here in a second. Let's get our other stopper ready to go. Just throw a little bit of glue in between the 2 little score marks in that area. Okay, give this a nice tug. Make sure that it's nice and flush up against the base there. Okay, and then take this guy and glue that right into place. Right there, as far as close to this section here as you can. Okay, and just press and hold that for a second. And then when it's opened up, it's going to look like that. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom of our card and we're going to glue it to this section here. Okay, so go ahead and get your glue on this tab. And I'm going to work that glue out to the very edge of this tab here. Okay, and I've already got this folded. So we just need to get that nice and aligned as accurately as you can. There we go. And you can press that down flat on your table to kind of speed things up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now we'll head on over to this side. And let's get our glue on this tab. Work that glue out to the very edge. Okay. And we'll glue this down. There we go. Just try to butt it up against the little score marks there, and then you can press that down flat on your table. Speed things up a bit. Okay. Now, another thing we need to do here, this little section here, this guy here, that little fold, that little long plank, that little rectangle, we're going to throw some glue on that. And we're going to glue that to this section here. Okay, so it's not going to be flat anymore. Well, I guess it still could be. So we're just gluing that down to the inside of this section here. Whoops. My hand just spazzed out. Okay, so try not to move that too much. And then I'm gonna go over on this side here, and we're gonna put glue on this little section here again, just like we did on the other side. And we're gonna glue that to the inside here. I don't wanna smush anything here, there we go. So we're literally just taking this and folding it over onto itself like that. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see how that section now is glued to this section here. Just hold that in place. Okay, all right, so you know what, we should give that a few moments to really dry so that it doesn't come undone. I'm gonna put that off to the side for a second, and we're gonna put our envelope together just so that we can keep our momentum here. And our envelope is this guy here. And you can see there is a little T. That's the top. So let's get this all folded at the score marks. Okay. And essentially what we're doing, again, keep your eye on where that T is. That's your top, because we're going to glue this. We're going to glue this flap here to the T, the section with the T, just like that. Okay, so we can actually do that now. Grab your glue and go easy on the glue here. I find that if you use too much, it's going to warp the paper, or it's going to look unsightly, and we don't want that. A nice thin little line here so that I can push that glue out to the very edge so everything looks nice and seamless, just like that. And then take this section here, this little half circle almost, and get it nice and centered, butting up against the little score marks there. You don't want to go over, and then fold it over onto itself. Give that a press. Okay, so there's our flap. And then we're going to take these sides, these 3 remaining tabs. I'm going to use my little vinyl tool to really push these or to break the fibers of the paper up a little bit so that they fold a lot easier. Just like that. And that's going to make for an easier glue job here in just a second. Okay, so all we need to do now is get our glue on these 3 tabs. Just go easy on the glue here. And I'm going to work that glue out to the edges again. I want it to be nice and seamless at the edges. And I'll flatten that glue out a little bit so it doesn't warp the paper. It's a perfect tack on that right now. It should sit very well. Well, that's actually drying a little quicker than I thought it would. Okay, so first off, get it aligned at the bottom and the sides, and then just press it into place. And there's your envelope. Okay, I may need to go around and add a little extra glue in some spots if maybe it's not taking completely. And this is a good thing that we're doing the envelope right now, because I really didn't want that special little section that we just glued to come undone. Okay, and let me see, how did I do here? Yeah, I probably could have used a little more glue. I've got some areas that are not sitting completely flat, but that's okay. I got my scrap piece of paper here, and I'll just take it and shove it in between the little areas where maybe it's not holding as well. Paint some extra glue there, and that'll do it. Now, there's a little trick. If you're not using solid score lines like me, you can take the edge of one of these or a bone folder or whatever it is, and just kind of push those perforated sections in a little bit to make things look nicer. Okay, and then we'll close the flap up. We've got a pretty little tree here. You can see that there are some little indicators as to where to position it to make sure that we've got it nice and centered. And that's what we're going to do right now. So throw a little bit of glue on the back of this little tree. just a few dots, and then just like we did with the main tree and the actual card, don't go crazy trying to get glue on every single inch of it. And then use that little marker to help you with the positioning. Pardon my head here for a second. There we go. And there's your coordinating envelope. It's a little bit large, but when this card is folded, it does take up a little bit of space. But anyway, there's your envelope. Let's go back to this. This should be completely, well, maybe not completely cured, but cured enough. Okay, so now what we want to do, now remember these pieces here, they have little score marks on them, okay? Okay, so I actually drew these score lines in so that you can see them better. Okay, so this is, we're gonna go on this side real quick. And what you want to do is you want to take this, okay, and let me see if I can show you from this angle here. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, there you go. Okay, so you see where that little fold is. We're going to glue that. We're going to put glue on the underside of this little tab that's folded over, and we're going to glue it flat right into this section here. So you want this little stem to be on this side of the score line. You don't want it down here. You want it up here on the other side of the score marks like that. Now obviously you want to make sure it's even. So here, let me just glue this into place, and then I'll show you from the side what it's supposed to look like. So we're going to put glue on the underside of this guy here, like that. I'm going to dab that a little bit so it doesn't take forever to dry. And then we're going to take this section here, and we'll make sure that it's nice and straight, nice and even. This is probably the easiest way to do it, like this. And just get that, butt that up right against that little score mark there. Okay. So you can see that piece is now glued, and you can still see the little markers there in black where the score marks are. So you want it like that. Okay, so it should sit up like that. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side now. And we want the score, or the little fold here going this way. Let me draw this in again so you can see it. Just make things easier on you. Oh, that's kind of crooked, but you get the idea. Okay. And now what we can actually do real quick is this stem, we're going to glue this stem to the inside of this tab here. Okay, so go ahead and just put some glue on this stem. We'll get that in place first before we move on to the other gift, like that. Okay, so bring this over and just make sure it's nice and centered. And press that down. There we go. Okay, so you can see what that's starting to look like inside there. It's a little different. It's cool though. Okay, we'll give that a second to fully set. And I guess while we're working on this, I want to make sure that this actually folds flat as well. So give that a good press. Hopefully. There we go. Okay. Because ultimately this thing is going to be glued flat, or be put in the envelope flat. Okay, so it does need to be able to fold it down. Okay, so that looks good. And then again, finally on this side here, what we need to do is this side here, you can see that we've got the little folded area, or this little score mark area, this little tab facing towards the side, and we're going to glue it into place right here so that the little score marks are just behind this little stem piece like that. See if you can see that there. There it is. Okay, so you see that bottom piece there. There's that little stem piece with the little tab folded. It's going to get glued right there like that. So you want the score marks behind it. And if you want to draw those in just to make it easier on yourself, feel free to do that. think it's just makes things a lot easier. Okay, I'm gonna hit that with my finger, thin it out, tack it up a little bit so it just grabs a hold nice and quick for us. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this over. See if I can show you. This is a lot easier to do when you don't have to demonstrate it. Okay, but there we go. Get that right behind. Those tabs need to be, or the little score mark should be right behind this thing. Okay, and then get your fingers in there and hold that down, let that set. So you can see, and there you go, right there. And then the little score marks are just behind it, okay? Now again, make sure that while this is setting, that this thing folds flat in either direction. There we go. That side works better. So just as long as one side folds nice and flat, that's all that matters, okay? All right, so the mechanisms are in place. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this up by joining these two sections together. So go ahead and get some glue on this tab here. I'll work that glue out to the very edges. And we're gonna connect these two sections together. I'm gonna do this flat on my table. There we go. You should be able to get your hand in there because of the mechanism and the way that it works. Excuse me. You should have no problem getting your fingers in there. Okay, just hold that for a moment. And then again, fold it flat. Let that, glue that to itself. And then last side here, we get this side joined. Get some glue on that tab, thin that out, and you should be able to do this flat. There we go. Make sure it's nice and aligned. There we have it. Okay, so everything is pretty much in place, and then we just need to close up the bottom. I'll give that a second, and you can see how that works. And now, to finish it off, all we're gonna do is put some glue on this tab and glue it to the inside of this section here. And that will close it up for us. Okay. And I'm gonna try to get that glue out to the very edge there. Okay, so just get that nice and aligned, nice and centered, and then you can literally do this flat. And just get that right on top of the other side and press that down. Hold that in place for a few moments. Let that set completely, and that's it for this card. Again, I'm going to add some embellishments as far as, well, there's going to be some little rhinestones on the actual tree, and then probably top it off with a little bow. I've got some ribbon here, just to make a tiny little bow to put up on top. But here's the moment we've been waiting for. Let's see how this mechanism works. Okay, and there you have it. And you can bring that up a little bit, and there's your beautiful card. There it is. Okay, and then again, to fold it, simply pull, and it should fold flat, like so. And there you have it. Okay, again, so, whoops, being a little rough with this thing here. And there it is. Okay, and our envelope's done. I usually do that last, but it's already done, and you can see here, when you pop this out, it's a little bit oversized, but it has to be, so that we can fit this whole thing in there. And I don't even know if I put it in the right way. I don't think I did. I think, oh wait, it folds this way, duh. That's why it wasn't fitting. There we go. And there you have it. Beautiful. Very unique, very different, especially for us even. But yeah, that's how you mail it. I guess technically it could fold up this way. I wouldn't do that though. You want to fold it down like so. So when your recipient gets it, you just pull up on the tree. Just tell them to pull up on the tree, and it should just kind of snap into place, and there it is. Okay. So that does it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know this is going to be popular because of its uniqueness. And again, I can't wait to see your version of it. So if you do make this, take a moment and visit us in the official group on Facebook. So head on over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Group, or you can type in this little URL here into your address bar. It'll take you directly to the group page. And if you enjoyed hanging out with me today, take a moment and visit our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, and while you're there, hit that little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a freebie, paid product, or any of our wonderful tutorials as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.